Hello everyone, my name is Pepsilk and welcome to Thoughts On. This is a series where I analyze games and give my opinions on them. Today, we'll be looking at Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic is a procedurally generated first-person 4-player cooperative shooter that sees players play as dwarven miners, who work for a mining corporation named, you guessed it, Deep Rock Galactic. These miners are sent into dig sites to secure and obtain minerals by any means necessary. Players will fight and explore enormous cave systems, uncover riches, and make it out alive. Deep Rock Galactic launched as an early access game on Steam on the 28th of February 2018, and just recently released as a full game release on the 13th of May 2020. It is developed by Ghost Ship Games and made on Unreal Engine 4. I bought this game during the early access phase back in December of 2018, but barely played it at the time because I felt that there wasn't a lot of content and things to do. Fast forward to now and holy shit, they've added and done so much to keep the game fresh, replayable, and fun. I've been playing non-stop since the full release, and it's safe to say, I'm addicted. Let me explain why. Deep Rock Galactic was developed as a game that focuses purely on gameplay, not story, so I'll just get straight into the nitty gritty. To start off, you choose one of 4 classes, each having their own set of gear and skills. The Driller is a miner that uses titanium drills to push and cut through the caves. I should probably just mention this now. Almost everything in DRG is destructible, meaning you can use this to your advantage when pushing through missions. The Engineer is equipped with turrets, used to help fend off the creatures, and a platform gun to reach out of place spots or create a bridge for your team. The Gunner is armed with a minigun and shield generator, which help replenish shields and eat up any projectiles within its radius. Lastly, we have the Scout, who has a grappling hook, which is used to collect those out of place minerals and give him lots of mobility, allowing him to move around the caves faster. So that's a quick overview of the 4 classes, but what about the actual gameplay? Well, the way that I see it is that DRG is similar to other big co-op titles like Left 4 Dead, Payday, and Vermintide, but improves upon the things that the games are known for. Example, there are swarms, procedurally generated levels, fluid combat, and special enemies. Procedurally generated is the big words to pay attention to here, since DRG heavily relies on it in order to keep missions fresh. Every location feels different, and everything is always placed differently, so you won't get the same thing twice. I can guarantee that. The gameplay loop goes like this. You select a mission, you drop in solo or with 3 others, complete the main objective, kill creatures, collect minerals, and extract via the drop pod. Simple, right? DRG gives these missions non-linearity by adding minerals and secondary objectives, and they all play in part in how much experience and credits you receive at the end of the game, as well as upgrading your classes. Each class has 25 levels, and as you level, new upgrades will unlock for your character. These range from weapon upgrades to gear upgrades, and there's heaps to choose from. The upgrades work in tiers, and each tier is earned by reaching a certain level in that class. There's plenty of upgrades to go over here, so you can pick and choose where you like to see your playstyle. I have to give props to Ghost Ship for even just making the character useful from level 1. In Payday 2, you weren't that strong until you hit about level 30, 40ish, and it's kind of annoying when you just want to have that value straight off the bat from the moment you start. But Payday 2's design goals are different, since Overkill wanted you to feel like you're living the life of a criminal from start to finish. And that also means you get low money jobs and whatnot. In DRG, your gear is all set, so you don't have to go earning any other pieces of equipment or skills. You just go into a game and get the ball rolling immediately, which is what I like to see. It can get a player instantly hooked because they'll feel like they're contributing something for their very first game, instead of contributing nothing or little at all. As you progress through the game, you'll encounter different missions such as mining expeditions, point extractions, and egg hunts. Mining expeditions send you to a cave to collect and deposit morkite, a blue mineral. Point extractions involve collecting aquargs, which are these big blue crystals, and you have to deposit them into the mine head. Egg hunts have you mine through creature material and collecting eggs, which make them angry for every egg you take away. These are just 3 mission types that you can get. There's 5 overall, and more are planned to be added through the game's lifespan. The sheer amount of enemy variety on this game is nuts, from grunts to web and acid spitters, big detonators and heavy enemies. DRG always tries to make these enemies feel unexpected by either placing them with you or somewhere far from you. They don't feel bullet spongy for the most part, Payday 2, and each enemy has a weak point to do more damage, so you can use that to your advantage. DRG has many weapons to offer, from heavy weapons to flamethrowers, SMGs, pistols, and more. The weapons are limited to class, so a driller can't equip the minigun for example. The minigun can only be equipped on the gunner. Additional weapons are unlocked by reaching level 10 and 15 with the class respectively, which will then give you the assignment on the assignments board. Now, assignments are quests that you can do to earn not just weapons, but also some cool things for the hub and cosmetics. It's worth doing just for the weapons alone, but it's always good to have one active, so if you have nothing to do, you could just do the assignment missions instead. Each class will have 2 primaries and 2 secondaries to choose from, and you have to pick the weapons before you enter your mission, otherwise you won't be able to change them. Surprisingly, there's endgame content in DRG, and thankfully it's a blast to have, given how many updates there have been for the game prior to its full release. For starters, once you reach level 25 on one of your classes, you have the option to promote, which resets your level to 1 and grants you access to these machine events, overclocks and deep dives, which are pre-generated caves. The promotion system is like prestige, and there's other color borders you can get, like silver, gold and platinum. I may as well just quickly outline what overclocks are. Basically, they're weapon mods that alter the behavior of your guns, and they can have upsides and downsides, depending on the color of the overclock. The last thing I want to point out is the key performance indicators, which tracks your stats and milestones. What's cool about this is that when you complete the milestones, you earn perk points, which can be spent in the perk section. Perks are skills that provide passive and active bonuses to your class, and every perk can be equipped on everyone. These range from more health to capturing a grunt, moving heavy loads faster, throwing things further, and more. Everything that you do in DRG is tracked, and there's no limit in how many times a milestone can be collected, so everything you do counts if you want to obtain every single perk in the game. Graphically, the game and art style look great. I like the low polygon, pixelated kind of setting they're going for, and it fits really well for the most part, considering that we're playing as miners. Ghost Ship definitely got some inspiration from Minecraft. The particle effects and lighting work well together, and the gory effects are awesome, especially when you get packed with a swarm and you're just mowing down everything you see. Body parts are splattering and blood is just all over the place. Amazing stuff. I could further praise them for the art style by the optimization, because this game is very well optimized. On high settings with my GTX 1060, I have no problem getting over 60 FPS, up to the hundreds most of the time. The only time your frames will really dip is when you get into swarm fights, but that's understandable. It barely dips when you're exploring and gathering minerals, and I haven't had any crashing or stuttering issues. The soundtrack in this game is amazing. I'm a really big fan of synthwave music, and to have it in this game is a godsend. It fits it really well, and you'll get the best feeling when you slap that volume up, wait for a swarm to come attack you, and the attack music begins. I think it's laid out similar to Payday's music, which I also love. Guns don't feel too bulky or dull when you shoot, and they've even got plasma and laser sounds for the non-bullet weapons. I hope that Ghost Ship will add more tracks to the game in the future. Deep Rock Galactic is an amazing co-op game that can also be played solo, and is good to play with strangers as well. I usually play with strangers, and I always encounter at least one new player a day, which is great to see. This game has so much potential to be great, and I feel it's criminally underrated right now, given the current price tag of $44.95 AUD. I think it's because co-op games are not on a lot of gamers' minds right now, given that multiplayer first-person shooters and battle royales are dominating the gaming industry at the moment. I hope at some point, DRG will see a fluctuation of players. However, with me saying that, this game is pretty populated at the moment, with a peak of 10,000 plus players every day, and I can find lobbies relatively easy, no matter the time or day. I just want the game to be a lot bigger and garner a bigger audience. DRG caters for both casuals and hardcore players alike, with difficulty settings, modifiers, upgrades, and endgame content that will keep you playing for hours and hours. Would I recommend it at its current price? Absolutely. Anyways guys, that's it for the video. Before I sign off on today's video, I just want to let you guys know that I'm planning to make more content for DRG, seeing that I really love this game. I'm thinking of doing a guide series going through each aspect of the game and giving tips to old and new players. I'm excited to do it, and hopefully I can do my part in making this game even greater. If you enjoyed, like the video. If I missed anything, comment down below, subscribe for more, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Peace.